All right, everyone get ready because today we are going deep into the world of Judge Judy.
Ooh, fun.
I love her. Yeah, she's great. We're not doing typical legal analysis this time, though.
Oh.
We are going to be using this YouTube compilation of Judge Judy episodes as inspiration for today's deep dive.
Interesting. So instead of looking at legal precedents and stuff, we're going to look at these cases to like see human behavior and conflict and how Judge Judy, works.
Yeah, think of it as like a cultural deep dive into human drama in a courtroom. Yeah. What can we learn about people and their relationships from these cases? And maybe even about ourselves.
I'm ready.
Let's jump right in.
Yeah.
Our first case is about a broken down truck, a mechanic, and a lot of accusations.
All right.
So we've got Michael, and he's suing Sean, his mechanic, over an engine for his truck. And at first it seems like just a straightforward case, breach of contract, gets your money back. But
of course, there's more.
There's always more with Judge Judy. So Michael's truck was at Sean's shop for 6 months before he even got the engine. And then he took another car to Sean for repairs while the truck was still messed up.
So he kept going back to the same mechanic.
Yeah.
Even though the first time didn't really work out.
It's kind of like...
You would think?
Going back to the restaurant that gave you food poisoning?
Yeah, you'd think he'd learn his lesson after the first time.
Right. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Maybe they were friends before all this.
Maybe.
Or he was just desperate.
Or maybe Sean was, really good at convincing people.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
But it shows how emotions can make people act irrationally.
Yeah, definitely.
And speaking of emotions, things get really messy when Sean claims he scrapped the engine to get back at Michael because Michael had filed a false police report saying that Sean had pulled a gun on him during an argument about the truck.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a whole other level.
I know.
But now it's not even about the engine. It's about, being betrayed.
Exactly. Like their pride and stuff. And if the police report really was fake, then I can understand why Sean would be mad.
Yeah, totally.
But you can't just scrap an engine to get back at someone.
I mean, is that even legal?
Probably not.
I think so.
But then Michael's story isn't perfect either. He was driving without a license when they argued.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he wouldn't give the police the full names of his witnesses.
So it's they're both kind of suspicious.
Yeah. It's hard to know who's telling the truth.
That's why Judge Judy's so good. She can just tell who's lying and who's not.
I know. She's like a human lie detector.
Right. She probably saw something in Sean's face or something that made her believe him.
She did say that there was a ring of truth to his story.
There you go.
Even though there wasn't really any proof. In the end, she ruled that Michael wins and gets the cost of the engine.
That makes sense.
But he didn't get the $800 back from the previous work he had done on the other car. And Sean's counterclaim was dismissed.
So they both kind of lost that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like Judge Judy found them both at fault. But ultimately, she sided with whatever evidence there was.
So it's not always a clear winner or loser in court.
Nope. Sometimes there's no easy answers.
I guess so.
All right, are you ready for some co-parenting drama?
Oh, yeah, heavy.
Okay, so in this next case, Desiree is suing her ex-boyfriend Curtis over unpaid child support costs and some shady car dealings.
Okay.
But it's deeper than that.
Okay.
It's about all the resentment and lack of trust that can happen after a relationship ends.
I get that. It can be tough to move on.
For sure. So Desiree claims that Curtis agreed to split the costs of their daughter's sports, but then he refused to pay. And she also wants money back for her daughter's cell phone.
Okay.
Which is weird because Curtis had already paid for the phone for years before Desiree got a new one.
Huh. Interesting.
I know, right? Like, why even bring that up?
Yeah.
But the main issue is a car.
Oh, boy.
Desiree claims that Curtis sold her car to his dad without her permission for $700.
Wow.
But Curtis is saying that the car broke down and he refunded her the money.
Oh.
But Desiree has text messages that prove he didn't refund the money.
Oh, so he's lying.
It really looks like he just kept the $700 for himself.
That's not good.
Nope.
You can't get away with lying nowadays.
I know. Everyone has a phone, and there's always a record of everything.
And it gets even crazier.
What?
Curtis's dad, Big Curtis.
Big Curtis.
Yeah, we'll call him Big Curtis.
Okay.
He admitted in text messages with Desiree that he paid Curtis for the car.
Wow.
But Big Curtis never got the title to the car.
Oh, no.
And he even said that his son has addiction issues.
Oh, my.
Family drama right there on Judge Judy.
This just proves how important it is to document everything.
Totally.
If you're in Desiree's shoes, you need proof that your ex sold your car without asking.
Yeah.
And thankfully, she had those text messages.
Yeah.
Otherwise, who knows what would happen. So true. In the end, Judge Judy ruled that Desiree gets the $700 for the car.
Good for her.
But all the other claims were dismissed.
Even Curtis's counterclaim.
It makes you think, though, maybe Desiree should have just cut off all ties with Curtis a long time ago.
Yeah, with his history, maybe it would have been better for her.
Yeah, you got to protect yourself sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so ready for a wild story?
Always.
This one involves neighbors, a keyed car, and some pretty suspicious video evidence.
Oh, this is my favorite kind of case.
I know, right?
Neighbor drama is always so entertaining.
So we've got Zachary, who is suing his neighbor Nancy for keying his car. Nancy denies it and is countersuing for false arrest and wants her legal fees paid back.
Okay, so they're both suing each other.
But get this, it all started at a pool party.
A pool party?
Yeah, Zachary told Nancy's granddaughter that she could only bring one friend to swim with his daughter.
What?
And that caused a huge fight between them.
Seriously, that's what started it all.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
People can get so intense over the smallest thing.
I know. You never know what's going on beneath the surface.
True. It makes you wonder if there was already bad blood between them.
Yeah, maybe. It seems like a pretty extreme reaction to a simple request.
Yeah, I would just been like, okay, whatever.
So months later, Zachary sees Nancy walking her dog near his car.
Oh.
And then he finds a new scratch on his car.
Oh, no.
So he calls the police, and Nancy gets arrested.
Wow.
But here's the thing. The video evidence is not clear.
What do you mean?
You can see Nancy pausing near the car.
Okay.
And her hand moves up, but you can't really tell if she touched the car.
Oh, so it's not definitive proof.
Exactly. It's like a classic he said, she said situation.
Yeah.
Plus, Judge Judy even asked Nancy why she would walk so close to Zachary's house if they weren't on good terms.
Well, maybe she was just trying to avoid him.
Maybe, but it just seems suspicious.
True.
And to make things even weirder, Zachary had filed a similar police report a few days earlier, saying that someone else had keyed a different car of his.
2 keyed cars in such a short time.
I know, right?
That's kind of a coincidence.
It makes you wonder if he's just jumping to conclusions because of their past fight.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Like if you've been wrong before, you're more likely to see the worst in people.
That's a good point.
So what happened?
Judge Judy ruled in favor of Zachary.
Really? Even with the iffy video?
Yep. She gave him money for the scratch and dismissed Nancy's counterclaim.
Huh. Interesting.
But it makes you think, could either of them have handled this better?
Probably.
Like maybe they could have talked it out.
Yeah, communication is key in any relationship,
So
even with your neighbors.
All right. From neighbors fighting to family feuds, get ready for a story about 2 sisters, a basement remodel, and some missing furniture.
Ooh, I love family drama.
This one starts out kind of sweet. Tiffany remodeled her basement so her sister Brandy could live there.
Oh, that's nice of her.
Yeah. But after 3.5 years, things went south and they ended up in court.
What happened?
Tiffany is suing Brandy for damage to the property and harassment.
Yikes.
Yeah, she claims Brandy ruined the carpet, moved some heavy landscaping rocks.
How do you even move those?
Right, like that's a whole other lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, seriously.
And Tiffany says Brandy sent her threatening messages.
Oh, wow. So it was really bad.
Yeah, but Brandy's fighting back too. She wants her furniture back.
Okay.
She says she had to leave some stuff behind because Tiffany made the move out really difficult and even called the cops on the people who were helping her move.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a mess.
Sounds like a lot of resentment built up over time.
Yeah, and during the case, Tiffany said, there's no chance of reconciliation. This is the funeral of our relationship.
Oh, wow.
So sad.
It makes you think, could they have avoided this with better communication?
Yeah, what about their mom? She lives with Tiffany.
All right.
This must be so hard on her.
It's a good reminder that family conflicts affect everyone.
Yeah. Judge Judy seemed to understand how serious this was for them. She didn't buy the whole landscaping rock thing.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
But she did acknowledge that this fight had really hurt both sisters.
It's sad when families fall apart like this.
She ruled that Tiffany gets money for the carpet.
Okay.
And Brandy gets her furniture back.
So kind of a tie.
Yeah, but really there are no winners when families are torn apart like this.
True.
It's a good reminder to set clear boundaries in any relationship.
Especially when you're living together.
Yeah, and to communicate openly.
Yeah.
Okay, ready for a case about a personal trainer alone and a secret addiction.
Oh, wow.
This one's about the blurry lines between personal and professional relationships.
Those can be tricky.
So we've got Vanessa, who's suing her personal trainer, Dylan, for an unpaid loan of $2,300.
Okay.
But Dylan claims it wasn't a loan. It was a prepayment for training sessions.
Oh, I see.
But the written agreement they have is really confusing.
So it's not clear what it was.
Nope. And Vanessa has a picture of Dylan's driver's license on her phone.
Why?
It's weird, right?
Yeah, that's not something you usually do with your personal trainer.
Exactly. Makes you wonder if she had some doubts about him.
Maybe she had a bad feeling.
And then Dylan admits that he lied to Vanessa.
Oh, no.
He didn't need the money for rent, like he said.
What was it for then?
It was to fuel his cocaine addiction.
Oh, wow.
So now it's not just about a financial dispute.
It's about something much bigger.
Yeah.
Addiction is a serious issue.
And it gets even crazier. Vanessa contacted Dylan's wife on Instagram to try and get her money back.
No way.
And the wife had no clue about the loan or Dylan's drug problem.
Oh, man, that's tough.
Yeah, this confrontation is what led Dylan to go to rehab.
So, in a way, Vanessa saved his life.
It's kind of a silver lining.
It's amazing how one person's actions can have such a big impact on others.
Totally. But it also makes you wonder, did Vanessa do the right thing by lending him the money in the first place?
That's a good question.
Like, she was lied to, but her actions also led to Dylan getting help.
Yeah, it's a tough ethical dilemma.
It's not a simple black and white situation.
No, definitely not.
Judge Judy saw how complicated this was. She ruled that Vanessa wins and gets her $1,800 back.
Okay.
She knew that Dylan took advantage of their friendship and Vanessa's generosity.
It's a reminder to be careful who you trust.
So true.
Even with friends.
Okay, last case for this part of our deep dive.
All right, bring it on.
This one takes us back to the world of ex-couples and unresolved financial stuff.
It seems like that's a common theme today.
It is, for sure. Like, breaking up isn't always clean and simple.
Nope, definitely not.
So we've got Terry, who's suing her ex-husband, Tony,
Okay.
for 3 ATVs and a lawnmower.
Wow.
But Tony says she owes him money for a truck that she repossessed.
It's interesting.
So the truck was bought in Terry's name.
What?
Tony had bad credit. So they agreed that he would make the payments and handle the insurance.
That makes sense.
But things didn't go according to plan.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
Yeah, Tony didn't keep up with the payments.
Oh, boy.
He even drove the truck with expired tags for 2 months.
Not good.
And then he claimed that he never got the bill.
Come on, those registration notices are hard to miss.
I know, right? It's like he was trying to avoid responsibility.
Sounds like it.
Terry got fed up with the whole situation.
Yeah, I can't blame her.
And repossessed the truck and sold it.
Okay.
But now Tony thinks she owes him the profit from the sale.
Really? Even though he didn't pay for it?
Exactly.
That's not fair at all.
Judge Judy called him out on that.
Good.
She said it wasn't right for Terry to take all the risk while Tony got to use the truck without holding up his end of the deal.
It's a good reminder to be cautious about getting financially involved with an ex.
Definitely, especially if they have a history of not being reliable.
Exactly.
Judge Judy's ruling was interesting.
What did she say?
Terry has to give Tony back the ATVs and lawnmower.
Oh.
But she also has to pay him $1,725.
So she still has to pay him something?
Yeah, that was the profit from the truck sale.
Oh, okay.
Minus all the initial costs that she had paid.
Oh, that makes sense.
It seems like Judge Judy tried to find a compromise.
Yeah. A fair solution.
But it shows how messy things can get when you're still tied to an ex financially.
It's a good reminder to cut ties cleanly when you can.
It can be hard, though. Sometimes people hope that things will change.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to protect yourself.
Yeah, you have to prioritize your own well-being.
Exactly. It's a tough lesson for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to make those hard choices.
Yeah. All right, so in this next case, we've got funeral expenses, family obligations, and maybe a little bit of greed.
I like the sound of this.
So we've got Tracy, and she's suing her cousin Chris over a loan she made to cover the costs of their mother's funeral.
Okay.
But Chris is saying it wasn't a loan, it was a gift.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Here we go again with the he said, she said.
Right. Funerals are already so emotionally charged.
Definitely.
And adding money to the mix just makes things worse.
Yeah, it can bring up all sorts of family issues.
So to give you some background, Tracy had been taking care of her mom for 8 years. She had to cut back on her work as an RF technician to do that.
That's a big sacrifice.
It is. And then when her mom passed away, Chris, who's an only child, was supposed to handle the funeral arrangements.
Okay.
But he had trouble finding a funeral home.
Oh, no.
And Tracy ended up having to step in and cover most of the costs.
Wow. So she ended up paying $1,500.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
And then a few days later, Chris set up a GoFundMe page
What?
for his mom's funeral expenses.
So he asked Tracy for money.
Yeah.
And then he asked strangers for money, too.
It sure looks that way.
That's messed up.
Judge Judy definitely thought so, too.
What did she say?
She basically told Chris that if he had accepted Tracy's money as a gift, then he wouldn't need to be asking other people for donations.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Judge Judy can always see right through people.
She's like a human lie detector?
She ruled in Tracy's favor.
Okay.
And said Chris has to pay her back the full $1,500. It's a good reminder that even during tough times, like when a loved one passes away, you need to be upfront about money.
Definitely.
Have clear agreements and don't put yourself in a vulnerable position.
Good advice.
All right. Are you ready for a story about a personal trainer, a client, and a hidden addiction?
Oh boy, this sounds intense.
It is. This one could have ended really badly.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So we've got Vanessa, and she's suing her personal trainer, Dylan, for not paying back a loan of $2,300.
Okay.
Dylan says it wasn't a loan, it was an advance payment for training sessions.
Right.
But like we've seen before, the written agreement they have is a total mess.
Those vague agreements always cause trouble.
It's hard to tell if they were being naive or if someone was trying to be sneaky.
Yeah.
Plus, Vanessa has a picture of Dylan's driver's license on her phone.
That's strange.
Yeah, it's not normal client behavior.
No, it's not. Maybe she had a bad feeling about him.
And she was right.
What do you mean?
Dylan admitted in court that he lied to Vanessa about why he needed the money.
Oh, no.
He didn't need it for rent, like he said.
What did he need it for then?
It was to feed his cocaine addiction.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this case is about way more than just a financial dispute.
It's about addiction and the damage it can do.
And it gets even crazier. Vanessa contacted Dylan's wife on Instagram to try and get her money back.
No way.
Yeah, and the wife had no idea about the loan or the addiction.
Oh, man, that's so sad.
But this confrontation led Dylan to go to rehab.
Wow. So it actually had a positive outcome.
It's a crazy example of how one person's actions can have a ripple effect.
Yeah, you never know how you might affect someone's life.
But it also makes you wonder,
Yeah.
should Vanessa have given Dylan the money even though he lied to her?
It's tough.
Like she was tricked.
Yeah.
But her actions also helped him get the help he needed.
It's a really complicated situation.
Definitely Judge Judy seemed to understand that.
Yeah.
She ruled in Vanessa's favor and said Dylan has to pay her back the full $1,800.
Oh, okay.
But I think she also recognized that Vanessa's actions played a part in Dylan's recovery.
Yeah. It's a reminder that things aren't always black and white.
Total.
Sometimes there's a lot of gray area.
Okay, this next case is about an ex-couple and a truck that just won't go away.
Oh, no, not another truck.
I know, right?
No.
Trucks seem to be a recurring theme on Judge Judy.
Well, cars and money.
Yeah.
Those are always a recipe for disaster.
So we've got Terry suing her ex-husband, Tony, for 3 ATVs and a lawnmower.
Okay.
But Tony says that she owes him money for a truck that she repossessed.
Wait, so the truck was hers?
Well, it was bought in her name because Tony had bad credit.
Ah, I see.
They had an agreement that he would make the payments and take care of the insurance.
That makes sense.
But of course,
What happened?
Tony didn't keep up with the payments.
Not surprising.
He even drove the truck with expired tags for 2 months and then said he never got the bill. Oh, come on. Everyone gets those registration notices.
Exactly. It's like he was trying to avoid responsibility.
Yeah, it seems like he wasn't taking it seriously.
Terry finally had enough.
I bet.
Repossessed the truck and sold it.
Okay. Good for her.
But now Tony thinks she owes him the profit from the sale.
But he didn't even pay for it.
That's what Judge Judy said, too.
What did she say exactly?
She said it's not fair for Terry to shoulder all the risk while Tony gets to use the truck without contributing.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a reminder to be careful about getting financially involved with an ex.
Especially if they have a history of not being reliable.
It can be tempting to help out.
Yeah, but you got to protect yourself, too.
So what was Judge Judy's ruling?
I'm on the edge of my seat.
She said Terry has to return the ATVs and the lawnmower to Tony.
Oh.
But she also has to pay him $1,725.
Wait, so she still has to pay him something?
Yeah, that was the profit from the sale of the truck.
Oh.
Minus the initial costs that Terry paid. So basically, she's just giving him the profit.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a compromise.
Yeah.
But it just shows how messy these situations can be.
Totally. Even after a relationship ends.
Okay, so you ready for another roommate drama?
Hit me with it. I'm ready for anything.
All right, so this case is about Tendra.
Okay.
Who is suing her former roommate, Tiffany,
all right,
for unpaid rent and damage to their apartment.
Oof, roommate problems are the worst.
I know, right?
Especially when it comes to money.
Yeah, Kendra says that Tiffany stopped paying rent just 3 months into their year-long lease.
Oh, no.
And she wants money for damages, too, like a broken window and stains on the carpet.
So Tiffany just bailed on her responsibilities.
It seems that way, but of course Tiffany has a different story.
Okay, what's her excuse?
She claims she had to move out because Kendra made the living situation unbearable.
Like what? What did she do?
She said Kendra was always having parties, inviting strangers over.
Oh, boy.
Just generally making it impossible for Tiffany to live peacefully.
I've had roommates like that.
The worst.
It can be so hard to study or just relax when there's always chaos going on.
But how do you prove that in court?
That's the thing. It's usually just one person's word against the others.
Yeah, it becomes a he said, she said situation.
And it sounds like Judge Judy didn't buy Tiffany's story.
Nope. She pointed out that Tiffany never complained to the landlord or tried to work things out with Kendra before moving out.
That makes her story less believable.
Exactly. If it was really that bad, you'd think she would have done something sooner.
Yeah, for sure.
So Judge Judy ruled in Kendra's favor.
Okay.
She said Tiffany had to pay the unpaid rent and some of the money for the damages.
That's fair.
It's a good reminder that even in roommate situations, you need to have clear communication, set boundaries, and follow the rules of your agreement.
Totally. And if there are problems, talk to your roommate directly or get the landlord involved.
Okay. Ready for some more family drama?
Bring it on, Judge Judy and family drama. That's the best combo.
This case is about a brother and sister who are fighting over money and a food truck business.
Ooh, this sounds juicy.
It is. So we've got Anthony suing his sister Maria over an unpaid loan and some shady business stuff.
Right. What again?
Anthony says he lent Maria $10,000 to help her start a food truck business a few years ago.
Wow, that's generous.
But she's only paid back a small amount and she's been avoiding him.
Not cool.
But Maria claims that the money wasn't a loan.
It wasn't.
She says it was an investment.
Oh, so she thinks he's entitled to a share of the profits.
Exactly. And of course, they didn't have a written agreement.
Oh, no, that's never good.
Nope. It's hard to know who's telling the truth.
So is their word against each other?
And to make things worse, their mom gets dragged into the drama.
Oh.
Maria claims that she already paid back a lot of the money to her mom, who was acting as like a middleman.
It seems a little fishy.
And their mom's testimony didn't really clear things up.
What do you mean?
She seemed confused about the details and even contradicted some of Maria's claims.
So maybe Maria wasn't being completely honest.
It's possible.
Family and money. It's a recipe for trouble.
So true. So Judge Judy asked Maria for proof that she had repaid the money.
Did she have any?
Nope. She couldn't show any receipts or anything.
That doesn't look good for her.
And her explanations were vague.
Yeah, it sounds like she was trying to avoid the question.
Judge Judy ruled in Anthony's favor and said Maria has to pay him back the rest of the loan.
Good for him.
It's a reminder that even with family, you need to have clear agreements.
Yeah.
Preferably in writing.
Especially when money is involved.
To avoid these kinds of misunderstandings.
And hurt feelings.
Exactly.
All right, what's next?
This next case is about a personal loan and a broken promise.
Okay, I'm listening.
We've got Jasmine, and she's suing her former friend Marcus for not paying back a loan of $5,000.
$5,000. That's a lot of money.
It is. Jasmine says she lent Marcus the money to help with medical bills.
Oh, wow.
And he promised to pay her back within a few months.
Okay.
But years have gone by and he's barely paid her back anything.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah, it seems like he took advantage of our kindness.
People can be so disappointing sometimes.
But of course, Marcus has a different story.
Let me guess, he says it was a gift.
You got it.
Ugh, that's such a common excuse.
It is. He claims that Jasmine just offered him the money out of the goodness of her heart.
Oh, come on.
And that they never talked about a repayment plan.
But $5,000, that's not just a casual gift.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even messier.
Okay, tell me more.
Jasmine and Marcus used to date.
Oh, boy. So there's romantic history involved? That
Yeah.
always complicates things.
It's hard to separate feelings and money.
Especially when a relationship ends badly?
Yeah, it can turn a simple loan into a symbol of all the hurt and resentment.
I can see that happening.
Judge Judy, being the wise woman she is, could tell there was more to this story than just a loan.
What did you do?
She asked Marcus for proof that the money was a gift.
Like text messages or something?
Exactly. But he didn't have anything.
So his story wasn't adding up?
Nope. Judge Judy ruled in Jasmine's favor.
Right.
and said Marcus has to pay her back the full $5,000 plus interest.
Good.
It's a reminder that even in personal loans, you need to have clear agreements.
How to protect yourself financially.
And sometimes you have to walk away from a relationship.
Yeah, even a friendship.
When there's been a betrayal of trust.
Okay, last case for this part of our deep dive.
All right, let's hear it.
This one involves two brothers, a catering business, and a whole lot of family drama.
Oh, boy. Family businesses can be tough.
They can be. It's like a recipe for conflict.
Yeah. Mixing family and money is never a good idea.
So true. So we've got David, who's suing his brother Michael over unpaid profits and a broken partnership agreement.
Ooh, that sounds messy. David says he invested $20,000 in Michael's catering business a few years ago with the understanding that they would be equal partners.
That makes sense.
But David claims Michael has been keeping the profits to himself.
Not cool.
And excluding him from important business decisions.
So he's treating him like an employee instead of a partner.
Exactly. And as you can probably guess,
there's no written agreement.
You're right. There's no written agreement.
Of course not.
It's a classic case of miscommunication and things falling apart.
Yeah, it's like trying to build a house without a blueprint.
So Michael is claiming that David's $20,000 was just a loan.
Oh, so he's denying the partnership.
Yep. And he says he's already paid back a big chunk of it.
So it's their word against each other again?
And to make things even worse, their wives get involved.
Oh, this is about to get messy.
Oh, it gets real messy.
What happens?
David's wife accuses Michael of being greedy, manipulative. And Michael's wife says David is lazy and hasn't contributed enough to the business.
Oh, boy. So it's a full-blown family war.
It's like something out of a soap opera.
Judge Judy must have loved this one.
Oh, she did. She tried to get to the bottom of it, but without a written agreement, it was tough.
It always is.
Yeah, she asked both brothers for proof to back up their claims.
But I bet they didn't have much.
Nope. It was basically a he said, she said situation.
It's a reminder to always get things in writing.
Especially when you're going into business with family.
Yeah, things can change so quickly.
So what was Judge Judy's verdict?
Tell me.
She ruled in David's favor.
Okay.
She said Michael has to give David a share of the profits.
Good.
And he has to buy out David's part of the business.
So they're splitting up the business.
Yeah, Judge Judy basically forced them to go their separate ways.
Yeah, probably for the best.
It's a reminder that even in family businesses, you need to protect yourself.
Absolutely.
Have clear agreements.
Yeah.
And be ready to walk away if things go sour.
Sometimes that's the only option.
Well, that was a whirlwind of family drama and financial disputes.
It was exhausting just listening to all those cases.
I know, right? But it's also fascinating to see how Judge Judy handles these situations.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's like a combination of a therapist, a detective, and a referee.
That's a good way to put it.
She can see right through people's BS.
She's definitely not afraid to call people out.
And she always makes sure that justice is served.
Even if it's messy.
Always. Okay, so this next case involves an unpaid debt, a broken promise, and a little bit of international drama.
Ooh, international drama. Sign me up.
All right, so we've got Jessica suing her former roommate, Roberto, for $2,000.
Okay.
She says she lent him the money to help him visit his family in Brazil.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was supposed to pay her back within a few months, but it's been a year, and she hasn't seen a dime.
Oof. That's not good.
It makes you wonder if Roberto ever planned on paying her back.
Yeah, maybe he took advantage of her.
And since he traveled to another country, it's going to be even harder for Jessica to get her money back.
Especially if they didn't have a written agreement.
Exactly. International loans can be tricky. You got to be extra careful.
Yeah.
So what's Roberto's excuse? He says the $2,000 wasn't a loan.
Oh,
he claims it was a gift.
Here we go again.
Right. Like, we haven't heard that one before.
It's the classic it was a gift defense.
And to make things even more complicated, Jessica and Roberto used to date.
Oh, no.
No, I know, right?
Mixing money and romance never ends well.
Never. It just adds another layer of drama and resentment.
Especially when the relationship is over.
Yeah, all those old feelings can resurface.
It's like pouring gasoline on a fire.
So Judge Judy, being Judge Judy, could tell there was more to this story.
Of course.
She asked Roberto for proof that the money was a gift.
Did he have any?
Nope, nothing.
Shocker.
Judge Judy ruled in Jessica's favor.
Good.
And said Roberto has to pay back the full $2,000 plus interest.
It's a reminder to always get things in writing.
Always. Even with friends.
Especially when it comes to money.
Well, I think we've learned a lot from these Judge Judy cases.
We definitely have.
It's like a masterclass in relationships, finances, and conflict resolution.
Yeah. It's amazing how much drama can unfold in just a few minutes.
What are some of the key takeaways for you?
Well, for me, it's all about communication boundaries and documentation.
Yeah, those are so important.
So many of these problems could have been avoided with clear agreements and upfront conversations.
Totally. And it's also a good reminder to protect yourself.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to say no or to walk away from the situation that's not healthy. Judge Judy's courtroom is like a mirror reflecting all the messy realities of life.
Yeah. It shows us that we're all human.
Yeah, we make mistakes.
We get hurt.
And sometimes we have to fight for what's right.
Thanks for joining us on this wild ride through the world of Judge Judy.
Yeah, it's been a fun one.
I always learn something new from these deep dives.
Me too. And hopefully our listeners did too.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the fascinating and often chaotic world of human nature.
See you then.